C-Service leaders at West this year and any other time they speak in public are careful to credit industry as important partners in fulfilling their missions. And they speak often about what makes a good industry partner. Chris Betz is Chief Technology Officer for Federal at Omnissa. He says industry partners should be careful how they partner with government.
A lot of sales teams are very salesy. You can't be that in this industry. And so I think the important relationship to have is to not only be a trusted advisor, but a strategic partner, right? Where you're driving value into the business, you're helping leadership align to whatever their desired business outcomes are, because then you have more credibility, right? You don't want to sell a customer a product that ultimately becomes shelfware and is delivering very little to no value. And so, we try to mitigate that by being a trusted advisor and a strategic partner.
What do they demand of you, your government partners, to become that trusted partner? And what do they maybe not demand of you, but you try to deliver it anyway in order to build that relationship the way that you just described?
Yeah, I think accountability on both sides, right? So if you've got a sales team or an organization that's coming into leadership and promising to, drive out costs or do X, Y, and Z, have some accountability on both sides, because it's not just you selling a thing to, hit quota or whatever you're trying to do for yourself. Mm-hmm. But having accountability and showing the path of how to drive out, the dollars or enable whatever the desired business outcome is.
From a strategy perspective, what are the strategies that you're seeing these C-services undertake in order to have success in their digital transformations?
Yeah, and I don't know if I've necessarily seen them undertake it, but I think what they're striving for is, you've got 30 years of how you've done IT business. And so when you hear these new initiatives like, zero trust architectures or being able to do cross-domain, multi-layer security type of capabilities, they've got to rationalize 30 years of history, right? And so, for example, with like a ZTA framework, you've got to rationalize 30 years of security policy and framework. And sometimes it's more than one. We've seen customers have up to 30. You've got to rationalize those things before you can implement the new modern thing that transforms the business. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of people understand that, but they're having a hard time doing that. Yeah.
What's the reason for that? Why is it hard to do when you can it sounds like they see it in front of them.
They do.
And have a hard time actually taking the action.
Yeah, and I think they even understand the problem, because you hear it at these conferences all over the globe, is that I think you have a lot of turnover in a lot of these key leadership positions. So they set out to do a really great thing. They get to a certain point and then they move on to their next endeavor. And then a new person comes in, maybe the handoff doesn't necessarily take place, or they want to put their own rubber stamp. And sometimes it reboots. So it's, and then there's, within federal government, there's a lot of just red tape and bureaucracy that I think, working together, we can kind of figure those things out. And then I think we in industry could do a better job at just helping with some of that transition and handoff. So if there's a thing that we're going to enable, or a desired business outcome, or whatever the business justification is, making sure that, we're marketing that to the right leadership, showing how we're providing value and the things that we're trying to accomplish together.
We have less than a minute left. You kind of anticipated my last question, which is there a role for industry to help maintain the consistency of handoff to handoff to handoff?
Yeah, I think it goes back to the accountability piece of the equation, right? Like, if you're going to be accountable, I think that'll help you be a strategic partner and a trusted advisor. And when you have that level of relationship, the art of the possible and working together for the mission and not the sell, provides a lot of value and brings a lot of those projects to fruition.
Chris Betz of Omnissa.